All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Crown Council live stream for October 12th, 2023. I'm Stuart Anderson. Grateful to have you with us. This is our opportunity to connect with the community of the Crown Council. There's so many fun live events that we do. We were at one last week at Total Immersion with the TOPS team. But this hour, every week, Thursday at 11, we try to connect with resource members, team members, doctors, the community of the Crown Council, which is humongous all across the United States and Canada, and share some of the stories and things that are happening around the community. That is the purpose of this live stream broadcast, is for you to join us and connect in a way where you feel connected to this group and know that dentistry doesn't have to be done alone. You do not practice alone, and Crown Council is here to help and connect you with some of the best in the business. So our first guest today will be Joey Smith. He's from our office, the Crown Council office. He and a team of humanitarians just returned from Guatemala. So if you don't know, Crown Council runs multiple trips a year to different needy countries. And Joey just returned on Monday. So we're going to hear his story and hear about what happened on their trip and some of the highlights. You'll see some of the pictures of what happened. And obviously have the opportunity to join us on a future trip to Guatemala or to the Dominican Republic. So welcome, Joey Smith. All right, welcome to the Crown Council live stream, Mr. Joey Smith. Hey, Joey.
Morning, Stu.
And although it may appear as though we're in different areas, Joey's literally 10 feet from me in the next office. So that's always fun when Joey's a guest on the Crown Council Live.
The best.
So last week, Joey was with our humanitarian trip in Guatemala. Just a brief history and recap of Crown Council's humanitarian work. So early on in our history, a few of our doctors suggested that it would be a great opportunity to do good by participating in humanitarian dentistry, and led by Dr. Roy Hammond. The Crown Council learned how to do humanitarian trips. He showed us everything that he had learned and hosted all of those early trips for Crown Council members. And now, what, Joey, 14, 15 years later, we continue to participate in 4 or 5 humanitarian trips a year where Crown Council doctors and Crown Council team members and their families travel for a week at a time and participate in humanitarian trips that serve very poor and very needy people across the world.
Yeah, crazy. I think by the end of this year, we may have done 6 trips.
6 trips in 2023, which is unprecedented. You know, we had a little bit of a slowdown in 2020 and 2021. And so there was a lot of need, a lot of desire for people to get back out there and participate in humanitarian trips. Some of the money that is raised through Smiles for Life Whitening is used to fund these trips, as well as our incredible partners and hosts in each of the countries who take care of us. Sorry. And they also make sure that when our teams arrive, and I'm sure Joey will talk about this, they're taken care of and watched over as we are in those countries. We also have to shout out Henry Schein for all the great work that they do as they participate as partners, as they donate so much of the supplies to us as we travel to these countries. So, Joe,
for sure.
I'm going to let you maybe take over a bit of the itinerary, what you experienced and just recap. This is why the live stream I think is so fun. It's casual. It's a great way for you to recap your experience and share what happened. We thought it would be fun. I've got a slide deck. Well, I guess it's not really a slide deck. These are pictures from the trip. So as Joey talks, I can kind of scroll through these pictures or put the pictures on the screen in a video so you can see how incredible these people are and just how it looked where you were. So, Joe, I'll just leave it to you. You can kind of give us a play-by-play of the trip, what you saw and what you experienced. Is that good?
That's awesome.
Okay.
It was, and Stu, jump in and cut me off or add whatever you want. This was, you know, I feel like you have really great trips, and then you have like these ones that go beyond that are just special. And this was one of those. This was, it was incredible. It, just to give you an idea of how things get started, we all arrive in Guatemala on sometime on Saturday during the day. We arrived at 5 a.m. Saturday. We flew through the night, and then we were at the airport to greet everyone. And we get together on Saturday night, have a dinner. We meet these great people from Choice Humanitarian when we're in Guatemala, or Esperanza International if we're in the DR, and just have a really nice dinner, get to meet everyone. Oh, look at those guys.
Look at those two.
That's Chuck Skinner and Brian Chudley. Chuck was our team leader. He led the trip, and I can't say enough good for Chuck and for Brian. Their attitudes and their guidance was just incredible, inspiring and motivating. Great morning huddles with both of these guys, and Chuck would give, this is it, this is where we're getting together. Chuck would give a motivational little thought, and then this team of dentists and team members combined were, oh man, incredible. So we get together on a Saturday night, we have a dinner, we jump on a bus on Sunday, and we drive for 8 hours up into, you can see the background of this picture. We're up in the tops of the mountains in this little community, and it is phenomenal. This is a community that doesn't have electricity, doesn't have running water.
Wow.
You can see the blue in the background, the blue walls. We were in a school. They let us take over the school for 3 days. I didn't realize that that's why we had so many kids to play with. They weren't at school because we had taken over their school for 3 days. And of course they loved it. But it was just incredible. Everything is obviously outdoors. It is, as we were talking with Chuck and Brian, this was their first experience, and talking about the dentistry that they would do, and after getting through that first day, they just said, wow, this is dentistry like we've never done before. Because you're making do with what you have, and you're doing as much as you can, as good as you can, but you don't have everything. That you don't have all of the power and the suction and all of the instruments that you need to do the normal dentistry that you do, but you make do, and it's amazing. These team members were phenomenal with these kids, and as you can see pictures of these kids that Stu's got up on. This is Marion from Colorado. To Dr. Chuck's credit, we worked ourselves to the bone on Monday and just were so dead and so exhausted, and he pulled us together and said, "Hey, this is awesome, but if you do this every day, we're gonna have nothing left by Wednesday." So, which man, it's so good to have someone step back and say, "Now, guys, we got to keep doing this every day." So he required all of us to take at least one break besides lunch during the day, and we could take a break for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, get rehydrated, and if we wanted to play with the kids, we actually encouraged that. The connection was phenomenal. And what happened with that, Stu, was so amazing is that we saw on Monday, we saw over 200 people, which is, I've never done that before. Instituting the breaks and doing what Chuck had suggested, we saw just as many on the next 2 days. It was phenomenal. The energy that we got and the inspiration from these kids and the people that are just, you can just feel it. You have a connection with them. This is a great guy. He's a Guatemalan dentist that comes on all of our humanitarian trips when we're down there. He comes and donates his time, and these guys are workhorses. These people are so tough. They are just so tough. Man, I just want to look at the picture, Stu, and reminisce there.
A lot of kids.
So many kids. Just so many happy faces, and even after they'd had some dental work done, they would just kind of sit there with a giant cotton roll in their mouth, and no tears, they'd just sit there till the anesthesia wore off. And man, just really just a lot of fun and some amazing dentistry done. But more than that, just an amazing time to connect and to change your whole perspective about life.
Yeah.
And about the blessings that we have, and how happy these people are with so very little.
Yeah. Nice, Joey. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, these are a couple of photos of Chuck's and Brian's kids, these kids by the end of our trip didn't want to let these guys go home. And there's Stu, there's a picture of, so the youngest kid, his name's Ty. You can see him in that picture on the right. That's him. So he's 13, and by the end of the trip, all of these little boys wanted their picture taken with Ty. They were lining up, and so fun. These guys, they helped us in the clinic, and then they would go out and play soccer, play frisbee, whatever with these kids. And it's not cool. I mean, temperature wise, where we are, it's hot.
No, look at this guy's sweat.
It's 80 to 90 degrees. That guy right there on the right is Steve from Choice Humanitarian, and he is phenomenal. And that's Dr. Vraj on the left, incredible doctor from Lightwave. Just so many fond memories. And that picture in the middle is Vanya, and those guys, great. Those are brothers.
Nice.
That's Ty and Cole. Just they're a little wet. So these boys are playing all day, and you can tell this is the end of the day, I think, with Dr. Chuck there you see that picture with him sitting there on the.
Look how sweaty he is. Yeah.
He is just drenched, and he's toast by then. But
Joey, yeah, great.
One thing I just have to say, there was never not a smile on Chuck's face ever.
Nice. A great trip. super grateful for the Lightwave offices that also participated here with us. They did have a bit of an exciting ending to the trip. There was some trouble getting the buses through some protests. And so Joey and our office here arranged for some helicopters that took the team directly to the airport. I don't know how much we want to share about it other than, I mean, these trips come with all sorts of adventures, all sorts of things that your dental teams get to experience together. At the time as it was happening, I was very nervous that, for safety and what will everyone say when they get home. But when we saw Joey Monday, nothing but positive about their experience, the people they were with, and just their time together as a group. So, Joey, if you were going to say something to a team who wanted to go or participate, pretend we're here and a team calls us on the phone and says, "Hey, I'd like to go to one of these humanitarian trips." What do you say to them when they say, "Should I do it?"
I would say it's not should, it's when. Because, and I would say, if you want to change your life, if you want to add a dimension to your life of gratitude, of an experience that you'll never forget, and of a bond that you create with not only the group of dentists and team members that you're with, but a people that you can't even speak their language. And if you want to really feel like you gave it your all, but at the end you gained more than you gave, then you need to come. You need to come and experience one of these trips. They really are life-changing. And we talked, Stu, about doing good. It's one of our core values, and we are doing good, but man, there is never a trip that you don't feel like you get more from being there than what you get.
Nice. Participation can be done here at crowncouncil.com. Inside every Crown Council team members directory, you can scroll down here to Smiles for Life Foundation, Dentistry Doing Good. And here's a few ways that you can participate in Smiles for Life: whitening, humanitarian trips, Rivers for Hope, and clear aligners with trays. So if you click here with humanitarian trips, some videos that will help understand and explain the experience. And then I'll take you here, which is a registration form. As you can see, 2 trips are planned that I still have opportunities for you to register for. And a lot of great information over here. If you're wondering what it's like, where you're going, what you'll need to pack, anything that can be asked about these trips, hopefully we know and can help in any way. So
absolutely,
Joe,
do whatever it takes to go, to come join us. It will be an experience of a lifetime. Hopefully it won't be exactly like the one we just had. But I have to say, Stu, just really quick here at the end, that through this whole, one thing you can be assured of on all the trips is that nothing is ever going to go as planned. And so you learn how to be flexible, but the positivity and everyone rolling with everything was just phenomenal. There was never any negativity that crept in. It was always, we know we're in good hands, and nice. And we're going to get through whatever comes our way. So
cool. Nice job, Joey. Hey, yeah,
thanks,
and for those that are looking to, so Abby Reese, one of your participants, is going to join us next week on the live stream. And then I've got Chuck Skinner and Michael Gorman, who are both going to do little interviews about their trip. So we'll hear some fun stories from them and kind of keep this rolling here for another week. So thanks, Joe.
Awesome. Thank you, Stu.
Okay, man. See ya.
See ya.
All right. Big thanks to Joey, and grateful for all those humanitarians. Next on our live stream, we have our resource member segment. This is an opportunity to connect with one of our partners, our resource partners. These are literally businesses who partner with the Crown Council in a way to make your practice grow, to make it better and a better experience for your patients. Kettenbach is our new resource partner, and I'll do a brief introduction before I do my interview with Daniel. But they are next here on the live stream, Kettenbach Dental, and enjoy this little interview I do with Daniel. All right, welcome Crown Council members to the Crown Council live stream. I'm Stuart Anderson, joined by a new resource partner, Kettenbach Dental, and Daniel Pirelli. Hey, Daniel, good to be with you.
Hey, very good to be here, Stuart.
You know, I know it's a virtual background, but I'll pretend that that is really where you're sitting. It looks good.
I will be in about a week.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm just getting my head wrapped around that.
Very fun.
So,
hey, if you are new to understanding what a Crown Council resource partner is, this is a great time for me to do a short introduction of how this works. So, in the very beginning of the Crown Council membership, there were multiple business opportunities where Crown Council members said to the rest of the membership, I am using a very specific business. I love using them. They're incredible partners. And your offices would be better if you used them as well. So I'll use, for example, a website building company. So for years, we've used multiple marketing groups inside the Crown Council resource partners. And those groups don't just come out of nowhere. Crown Council members recommend them, share them on the email network, and then we go out, visit with them, and make sure that those resource partners and businesses have the same vision and ideas as what we hope to provide to the Crown Council members. And as the pattern has unfolded, there were a few Crown Council members who asked us, kind of like in a question, Daniel, why isn't Kettenbach Dental part of the Crown Council membership? Specifically, David Hornbrook really pushed to make sure that you are part of the resource member group and providing assets and help to the rest of the Crown Council membership. So we're grateful to have you, although you're definitely not a new company. Thankful to welcome you to the Crown Council. And we'll spend here maybe 15, 20 minutes talking about some educational things that you've learned through your career, as well as how Crown Council members can interact and use you as a resource member. Does that sound good?
that's great. That's terrific.
Maybe let's start, Daniel.
So
Go ahead. You go. Would you just introduce
I was just
yourself
gonna
and the company?
Yeah, sounds good. Dan Pirelli. I'm the general manager of Kettenbach LP, which is the German division. It's a standalone business, but we're the U.S. division of a German company that has been in the dental space for almost 80 years now.
Wow.
But it's essentially new to the U.S. We are only 15 years in the U.S., so it wouldn't surprise me if some in this audience have never heard of us. Increasingly, that's harder to find, but occasionally I do find somebody that's never heard of us because we're a direct seller. Your local dealer is probably not going to talk much about us, and if they do, it may not be favorable. We're a direct selling company, as I said, that specializes in dental materials, 3 different categories: elastomers, restoratives, and preventives. How's that?
That's good. That's very good. I'm looking at your website, wondering if I should share what you're talking about, but it's probably not worth it. You just keep talking.
Okay. So we our mantra really has to do with providing technologies that make the dental professional life better, easier, more efficient, more pleasurable. Something about using our products that makes it a little bit better than perhaps what they have become accustomed to in other products that they've used. So I think what I'll do is I'll start with elastomers. Elastomers is really our core business. That's really how we got our start. Back in the early days, the founder of the company, August Kettenbach, developed a technology in silicone chemistries. And Kettenbach was actually the first company to innovate impression materials into the silicone category. Product called Elastic 55, interestingly introduced in 1955. It was a condensation silicone. We've come a long way from there, but that was really the start of using silicones in the elastomer impression material category. The products that we market today are a great deal better than that initial one, obviously. Panasil is the number one product in our stable. It is a VPS. What makes it different is that it has an extremely low contact wetting angle. By that means when the product comes in contact with wet tissue, you still get optimum detail. And we do that because we add a couple of surfactants into the chemistry that breaks down the surface tension of the silicone. Silicone, of course, is great for car wax, not so much for wet oral tissue. So you gotta treat it if it's going to work in a wet environment. Otherwise, you have to dry that tissue so that you get the detail that you want. So we improve the productivity of impression taking by adding the surfactants, so you get a much nicer impression as a result. In addition to Panasil, we also recognize that not every practice likes a VPS chemistry. About a third of the market in the US likes a polyether, which is a very different chemistry. The trouble with polyether is it tastes so bad. And once it sets so rigid, it actually continues to get rigid even when it gets to the laboratory. So we introduced a new synthesis, a synthesis of vinyl polysiloxane and polyether. We call it VSXE, and the Germans love pronouncing it that way. It's vinyl siloxane ether, and it takes the best of both of those chemistries and synthesizes it into this new one. What you get is the same handling characteristics of the polyether without the awful taste and the extreme rigidity. You still get a good firm impression. You want that. Polyether users want a very firm impression. You just want something that you can easily remove from the teeth too. Then we also have a great alginate alternative, which is a lower cost VPS, but with consistency that you don't get in some of the other alginate alternatives. And then lastly, in the elastomer category is our Futar, which is globally the leading bite registration material. And there's a good reason for it. It sets very rigid. I describe it as setting as rigid as impression compound. It's literally hard as a rock, but you can trim it cleanly with a sharp blade or even a rotary instrument. It's really important in your bite registration to have something really rigid. It will help to keep the restorations you get from the lab with something that hasn't been distorted in vertical dimension, so that your chairside adjustments are going to be minimal. So that improves on chair time and chair time productivity. and aggravation and so on. So FUTAR, very, very popular. And we've even added a clear version of our FUTAR to the line for those that like something that they can cure through. I don't recommend it for a bite registration per se, but it makes for a great matrix when you're using light cured materials. So that's our elastomer line.
Very good.
With that,
I'm
we can move-
the
yeah.
FUTAR. I like the FUTAR products logo. I'm looking at your website. It has a tooth with a cape on it. It truly is the superpower here of the product. So that's very good.
Yes,
Very
that's
good.
our German marketing team having a little fun
Yeah.
with our imagery.
I know,
The
Daniel.
second,
Oh, go ahead,
yeah, go
Daniel.
ahead.
Just a quick question. I know that when we spoke a few weeks ago, we talked about the new world of digital scanners. Maybe is
Wow.
this a good time to talk about that for just 1 minute?
Sure, of course, sure. Yeah, well, certainly digital scanning is something that is here to stay. It's still, even today, it doesn't represent the majority of impression taking. Still, analog impression taking is still about 2/3 of the impressions that are received by laboratories in the United States. And it will likely continue to be a significant portion of dental practice because the digital technology is still developing and still refining itself. Just like any significant technology, it still has room to be improved. It still can't read anything through tissue. And it can't read around corners yet. And in a lot of hands, you can just take an analog impression faster. It really depends on the operator and the amount of training, or just, if it's staff that's doing the scanning, staff changes do disrupt the process in a practice. So there are a lot of factors to consider when you consider taking digital into the practice. But analog is really here to stay and will continue to be a significant piece of the practice for many years to go, and I would say decades even at this point.
Very good. All right. I didn't mean to ruin your flow there. Were you going to do the restoratives next?
Yeah, and that's quite all right. Digital is a significant piece of today's practice discussion. Restorative, that's the newer technology, one of the newer areas of technology to Kettenbach. A lot of companies that are expanding their portfolio of products simply buy from other companies and add it to their product line. We did all of our development internally. So these are homegrown technologies that have been developed and expanded upon over the past almost 7 or 8 years now. Starting with our Visalis Temp, which was the first BPA-free type temporary material. Significant in that while it's still a bisacryl, because it's not a BIS-GMA, it's actually stronger. It's less prone to fracture. What that means to you as a practitioner is it's less likely that you're going to get that weekend call that from a patient that has a broken or a chipped temporary that needs repair. This is a much stronger resin, which is still very cosmetically appealing. A simple cloth buffing will bring a sheen out of this material, which makes it really even an outstanding temporary material for veneers. So So whether it's posterior or anterior, that's a great temporary material. And again, much stronger because it's using a different monomer than a BizGMA. The second technology or second product in this technology that we developed is something in the core buildup area, VESALUS Core. This is a unique core material in that you can use it for building your core because it stacks so well. In fact, the handling properties are so great, you don't even need a matrix. It won't slump on you. It stays high if you want it high. However, if you use an endocannula with this material, the striation of the material, under stress, this material actually flows. So you can flow it into the canal, cement your post, and build the core all with the same material. As clinicians, you would absolutely love this handling. I actually tell my salespeople when you're presenting this product to a new user or a potential new user, I put the syringe in their hand and shut up. Just let the product speak for itself, and it always works because it is that much better in handling. The third product in our category is SemCore, which is an advancement of our core material. Here's a 3-in-1 material. You can cement your post, build your core, and cement the crown all with the same material. Oh. It's an adhesive resin. It has a very, very low film thickness, and it works with all substrates, zirconia, other metals, ceramics. It works with everything. So whether it's a bridge or an inlay or a veneer, doesn't matter what it is. This is a cement that's truly universal, and probably our fastest growing product in the line because of its high utility. The newest restorative is our VESALUS Fill and Flow product. It's a nanohybrid, but it's a nanohybrid with very, very high aesthetics. It has an extremely high fill rate, 87% for the fill and 84% for flow. That's almost unheard of in this category. What that does is it provides for exceptional strength, but very low shrinkage, because it's the inorganic filler or the inorganic materials, the plastics, that are the weakness in any restorative material. So the less of that, the better the long-term efficiency of that particular product. So that's a very new product. It's only been out for 5 months now. Wow. And off to a very good start. Nice. There will be other restorative products soon. Beyond this nanohybrid, which is a 2 millimeter depth of cure, we have a bulk fill that's coming soon. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. And that's very our good restorative line. Nice. Very good. All right. We got one more. Last. Yes. Last and perhaps most interesting in that it's a category new to us, preventive products, utilizing our silicone technology expertise. You know, fluoride varnishes. Fluoride varnishes have been around for many years. And they really haven't changed much over the decades. They've been pretty much an alcohol and rosin combination product. They all have the same monograph, 5% sodium fluoride, mostly. There are a couple of small exceptions, but mostly it's a 5% sodium fluoride in an ethyl alcohol rosin slurry. The problem with ethyl alcohol and rosin are two. Ethyl alcohol stings when it touches the tissue, particularly objectionable to children. And rosin is, well, it's tree nuts, it's sap. It's something that there's a significant population that is allergic to it. And if they're not allergic to it, they really don't like the feel of it. It feels like grit on the teeth once it's applied. Once it hits saliva, it gets clumpy and gritty. And I've even heard some hygienists call it sweater teeth. It just literally very uncomfortable. And that's after the patient just spent 40 minutes in the chair getting their teeth scraped on and cleaned and feeling really great. And then you put something like that on the teeth, and the patient goes, why did we do that? Well, Kettenbach has taken the ethyl alcohol and the rosin out and replaced it with dimethicone silicone. Dimethicone is a silicone. It's the dimethicone that is delivering the fluoride. The silicone is actually a mucoadhesive. It clings beautifully to the teeth. But what it leaves is a smooth, silky, lubricious feel on the teeth, something far more normal and certainly far more comfortable. And while it comes in berry and mint, it also comes in an unflavored. And to many patients, they don't want a flavor, and this is truly no flavor. You know, there are some others in the market that say no flavor, but this one truly is no flavor. Tastes like saliva. I've heard it expressed. So this is a brand new product, literally just launched about 6 weeks ago. Off to a really great start. We presented it to a number of hygienists at this point, and the look in their eyes when they're applying it to their teeth and comparing it to what they have been putting on their patients' teeth, it's an amazing response.
Nice.
And from a cost standpoint, it's very similar to the other products that are out there. So it's just a more pleasant patient experience, which means you as owners of your businesses, your practices, you're going to be doing more fluoride varnishes, which means more income.
Yeah. And nobody wants sweater teeth.
No one wants sweater teeth.
Very good. Daniel.
So that's our product line at this point.
Very good.
There'll be more.
Yeah. And as you've worked with dental professionals around the country, in your opinion, is there advice that you would give a dental professional from what you've seen some of the very best practices do? This can be related to your own products or just a personal observation, something that you see that great dental teams and great practices do.
Well, don't close your mind to what's new and newly available to you. Companies such as Kettenbach, certainly Kettenbach, work hard to bring the better technologies into the marketplace. In our specific case, we do it with the intent of improving the clinical practice experience, but you don't know it unless you examine it, unless you give the sales professional that calls upon you appropriate time to explore that. We're all busy, and you have to pick and choose where you go to examine these new technologies or these new opportunities. But don't close them out. What you are currently using today, there may be something better.
Nice.
And with better, that may mean more efficiency to go along with better productivity.
I love that. Very good. Thank you, Daniel. Grateful for you. Thankful for your time. Crown Council members, you can find the resource on the resource partners section of the website. I'll include a link. The best way to interact with Kettenbach and getting in touch with Daniel and his sales team, or just to ask questions. So that link will be included here with our video, with our live stream. Any other instructions, Daniel, for Crown Council members if they would like to get in touch with you or communicate?
Yeah, just once again, we're a direct selling company, so your dealer rep is not going to know about us, or what they know, they're going to try and steer you away from. So you need to contact us directly. The resource page, of course, has our website or our phone. Anybody that answers that phone number, the 877 number, 877-532-2123. Anyone that answers that will be able to help you. That's my inside selling team, but they're also a resource. They know the technology well, and they can guide you through any questions that you may have. And I'm always available as well. A little harder to reach because I'm at 30,000 feet, a lot. But if you want to catch me, I'm happy to spend a little time with you as well.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Grateful for your time today, and look forward to the future together.
We look forward to working with everybody at Crown Council.
All right. Grateful for Daniel and all of our resource partners. Our next guest is actually another participant in the humanitarian trip that Joey just went on. Her name is Abby Reese. Abby is a team member, and Joey connected me with Abby, and she willingly agreed to be part of the live stream. So enjoy this short interview with Abby and her experience on the humanitarian trip that just took place last week. All right. Welcome, Abby Reese, to our live stream program. Abby, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
So Abby just got back from our Guatemalan trip. We were just talking. She's back to work Monday. They were gone all last week, and then back to work. Abby, maybe your first impression. How was the trip overall?
It was a great trip, honestly. Saw and experienced a lot of things that I had never seen or experienced before.
Okay, like what?
Definitely, I'd never been in like a true third world country and seen the poverty at the level that it was at.
Yeah.
Kids lacking the care that those kids were lacking. It's definitely very sad to see a lot of the people, a lot of little kids in pretty poor condition dentally. So definitely, I've seen baby bottle carries here, but that kind of went to a whole new level there. Additionally, yeah, first time in a helicopter. That's exciting, right? So great views coming out on the back end. So yeah, all in all, lots of highs and lows. Lots of highs and lows.
Looking back, maybe 2 or 3 of the most memorable moments or stories from the trip. Is there anything that you could share?
So easily the most memorable moment for me was clinic day 1. Dr. Gorman and I got a patient from triage that came. Her little wristband that we labeled them with said extractions 8 and 9, and I think 19. Really beautiful young teenage girl. I'm mostly sitting there thinking to myself, can you imagine being this age, losing your front 2 teeth? My heart is broken. Dr. Gorman was able to restore the teeth, actually, put some pretty large fillings in them, but the smile on her face when we handed her the mirror, I felt like changed my life. You don't realize the value of those, although it was a big thing, almost a little thing that we did for her that, you know, I know she came back the next day and just got her teeth cleaned. I got to see her at the end of that second clinic day, and she was just all smiles. I mean, we couldn't communicate at all. I don't speak Spanish even. I'm trying to learn a little, but she didn't speak Spanish either. You know, they speak a native language there. So with a lot of the patients, we couldn't really talk to them. And yeah, the look on her face just said it all. So that was probably easily the most rewarding moment of that trip.
Very cool. Okay. Any others? Anything else that stands out?
Well, I know we talked about, I did see a lot of those little kids that had a lot of dental issues. We did see a little boy who is very unfortunate. Really, we could have taken all of his teeth out. I think he was like 3 or 4 years old. Turns out they drink a lot of soda there, which is not great. But, you know, you kind of get to that point where you're pressed, like, is it fair to be doing the treatment because the kid is kind of losing their mind and they don't understand what's going on and they're in pain? And the mom made a comment, via a couple of translators along the lines of, he won't eat anything because he's in so much pain. And
Wow.
so I know that as painful as it was to be a part of that kid crying and screaming, and getting some of those teeth out, that I know that for the mom, it gave her a lot of peace of mind, and that the kid will be in better condition, as he moves on in the future. So some of those harder moments also were some of the best moments too, because, like, we definitely really changed his life and his mom's life. So
I love that. Very cool. Abby, a lot of team members in the Crown Council have not been on a humanitarian trip. If you were to bump into them and they asked, should I go, or what do I say to my doctor? I'm thinking about going. Is this something that you would like recommend to teams, or what would you say to somebody interested?
yeah, you know what? I wasn't sure going into this. I was very afraid to go to Guatemala. My mom expressed some concern, right, that maybe the political situation there wasn't the best, which does turn out to be true. But it's interesting. Somebody that I went with made a comment to me before we went that, if you go and do God's work, God will protect you. And I really believe that. And, we were even put in some trying situations that, resolved really well. And we all got to come home safely and on time the way we were supposed to. So I would just always tell people that don't let the fear of going hold you back, because the experience that you're going to have is going to change your heart forever. I mean, taking a week off work means nothing in the grand scheme of the amount of help that you're doing for those people. I mean, you really can't even understand it until you go and you experience it. And it really does just change your life.
I love that. Nice, Abby. A little more practical advice here. What would you do different? What would you take? How would you prepare different? Like what happened on your trip where you're like, oh, I wish I would have brought, or any advice to a team member who's about to go?
Definitely taking snacks is smart. If you, like myself, have like food allergies, have like some restrictive eating, definitely having my own snacks was super, super easy to have around, and convenient. Spray the bug spray on your clothes. I did not know this was a thing. This really works. I did really well with this on our clinic days. And on the fourth day, I did not spray my clothes and I had bug bites all over my legs.
Ew.
So spray your clothes. And pack a lot of Ziploc bags. Your clothes are going to smell really bad. You're going to want to bag it up.
And I always leave my shoes. I never bring them home. I always just
I
have
did
a,
bring a pair of shoes.
you just
Yes.
left. Yeah, I always am like, listen, these shoes, you've done great, but I'm leaving you. So
Yeah,
goodbye.
they'll never be the same. Whatever you take will never be the same when it
It's
comes
true.
back.
It's true. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anything else, Abby, before we wrap up that you want to share?
No, it was a great trip, and I just want to thank Crown Council for continuing to support and send people on these trips. It's really, really wonderful work that we're doing, and I'm just lucky that I got to be a part of it.
You're awesome. I wish I would have been on the trip. Good job, Abby.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for connecting. See ya.
Anytime. Have a good one.